Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I did something fun where I went on Instagram and I asked you guys what martial artists you want to learn more about. And for my first interview, I did a Q&A with Angela Jordan. Angela Jordan, who goes by AJ, she is an awesome martial artist. She is also a YouTuber, an actress, a stunt woman, and I'm really excited to interview her. If you don't know who she is, let me kind of show you some clips of her so you can check her out doing her thing.
Can you hear me now? Awesome. There you go. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
So, do you go by AJ first of all?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay, it says Angela Jordan, but then like AJ, I don't know what to call you.
No, it's all good. AJ's good.
Awesome. And then I go by Sammy, even though all my stuff says Samery, but no one remembers that. So yeah,
Oh,
Sammy.
Gotcha.
Cool. So where are you at, by the way? Where do you live?
I'm in New Jersey, actually, so East Coast.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it is freezing cold over here. I wish right now I was in the West Coast because it's all sunny and everything like that, or at least the temperatures aren't below freezing. That's all that matters.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm in Utah and like it's cold outside, but we don't have snow. And I'm kind of upset. I'm like, if it's going to be cold, I should at least have snow.
No, I get you what you mean. At least like, let me look forward to something and playing in the snow and unleash my inner child or something of the sort. The Winter
Right?
Wonderland, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it's great to have you on here. I'm really glad. I don't remember who tagged you, but I put like on Instagram, tag who you want to like hear from because a bunch of people have questions for you. So thought it'd be fun to get this interview. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you sound awesome. I was stalking you like all day. I'm just like, oh my God, I need to find everything about her so I know what questions to ask.
God. I'll be like bringing up something. I'll be like, yeah, I totally remember when I did that. I don't remember
Right?
and something like that. I did that? Oh yeah, I did do that.
Exactly. Okay, so first question is from Cute and Dangerous So-So, and she wants to know, when did you start martial arts?
Okay, so I started martial arts actually around 5.5-ish. So
Okay.
I was pretty young. I'm lucky to actually be able to do that. I started out in sports karate actually. It was like a
Oh,
little school on it by our house, like 5 minutes. So I was actually really lucky that my first karate school was so close by. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and it pretty much just got into it because of like the whole into Power Rangers and watching Jackie Chan Adventures. I don't know if you're familiar with that animated
Yeah.
show before. So mimicking the moves, and my parents, well, my mom specifically said I was practicing those moves, but I had a little sister, so I was kind of practicing the moves on my little sister. The whole, with great power comes great responsibility thing. So they wanted to make sure I wasn't going to be using my karate moves on my sister and actually putting the energy to good use. So they put me in karate since I showed an enthusiasm for it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, those are good reasons. That was actually the next question. Cleve wanted to know how and why you got into martial arts, but you already answered that, so that's perfect. So how old are you now, if I can ask?
I'm 25, so I've been doing martial arts for like 20 years
20
now.
years.
Ew, I'm at like the 20 now. Oh, I feel old.
Right?
I
It happens
remember.
fast. That's a lot of
Yeah.
years, so that's like honestly like I don't know, a ton of your life. So that's way
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of funny because like I've done martial arts my whole life. I started around like 5, the same thing like you. And
Hmm.
it's just like weird because everyone's like, what else do you do? And I'm like, well, I do other things, but like martial arts is like my life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
it just
couldn't. I
makes
couldn't
sense.
imagine anything like with. I couldn't imagine a life without it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like I don't know, I think it just seeps into everything, like not just going out and training, but just like seeps into my whole life. I bet you feel like that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Every aspect.
Cool. Okay, next question is from Cialia Cialis, and that is, what technique or kick took you the longest to master?
Ooh, that's a real like I've gotten this question a couple times, and it's honestly really hard to answer just because I think the moves that are the hardest to master is also the ones I started really loving a lot, and I
Oh,
practice that more often. So I think like a side kick is one of the hardest kicks really to get properly executed,
oh, for sure.
and yeah, but I really do love them. And the thing is, like, I don't think I've been able to get my side kicks to be effective until I was like older and later in life with the muscle build and actually practicing it for sparring and doing it more on drills. That's the longest one that took me to actually get to like this is an effective side kick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the other tricks that I think are like are very much like just hard in nature, like any aerial tricks or anything of the sort. I don't really count those just because like they're hard, I think, to get just in the beginning with it. Like I think if anything, I remember trying to get an aerial the first time. That's pretty much like a base trick. It's not even considered a trick, I think, honestly, in the world of like tricking. So
Uh-huh.
like, so I remember wanting to like get an aerial over and over and over again, doing demo team and stuff. And like the whole thing was like, I remember every time after class, I'd be just practicing them, but I'd always either like ram my face into the mat or I'd like just flop. And then I'd be like, well, lay there, you fail for today. And I remember I took like a 6 month break from doing it because I messed up really, really bad one time. I've never really gotten super, super injured from anything, but like I remember getting hurt really bad on the fall and like, I'm not doing this for a while. Then I did it, and I don't know what it was. The leg strength came back or something like that, or
Uh-huh.
developed. I did it once, and I was like, oh, I can do an aerial now. Well, that's cool. I should have just waited 6 months for like earlier before if that was the case. So I guess it's like stuff in your head too. But I think martial arts technique wise, definitely a side that took me the longest. But I've been practicing it for a while. While. I love that kick. Really, really love that kick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with it for sure because I get asked that question all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's hard, just like the mechanics of it. And like you're saying, it's just really hard to actually master and make it effective. So I get you with that. And then same thing with the aerial, like I can totally relate to you because I remember just like being super little and just like running at the mat as hard as I could. And I'm
Oh
like, I'm
yeah.
going to get this trick. And then I don't know what happened either. Like one day it just clicked and I'm like, yeah, like, oh, that's all.
Like, like I don't know about you with your aerial. Like my first aerial, this was me. My head was like, if this was the ground, my head was literally right here because it was all relying on flexibility. I have no jump height whatsoever. So like whenever we'd have to do demos, my head was literally like an inch off the
Oh
ground. We
my
go
God.
out, yeah, we go like, and we would do like concrete, like on the concrete for like parking lot demos and stuff like that too, for like schools for promotions and everything. This high off the ground. I don't know what I was thinking as a kid for doing those like tricks like that. I was like, oh man.
Oh my God. Oh, like the
Yeah.
child mentality. I love it because it's like fearless and you're just like, yeah, it works. I can do it.
Yeah. I wish I had more of that now for certain things,
Same.
honestly. Oh man.
I see it in like the kids that I teach at my studio and I'm just like, I remember that. I remember that feeling.
That's good stuff.
Well, cool. Okay. Next one is from How to Be Brandon 101. He has two questions. So I'll ask you the first one. What matters most in terms of technique while performing a kick?
Ooh, that's a nice question right
And
there.
I love these questions.
Yeah, Brandon's a cool friend actually too. He's actually a really good tricker, self-taught at first,
Oh.
and then he got refined once he joined a proper school, I think. So hi Brandon, thank you for that. But in terms of like the most important part in terms of executing a kick properly, that was like the basis of the question. Um, I would say making sure that you have a solid chamber. I think a lot of the power of your kick, the direction of the kick, and like where you're aiming it and everything of the sort really derives from a proper chamber. Like every kick has a specific position, and if you are able to one develop that chamber and be able to return back to that afterwards when you fire out a kick, you can your options open up as a kicker in general, I think. um, like I drill that heavily more so. Like I don't even, when I teach kicks or even when I'm trying to like refine my own kicks, like I sometimes don't even touch the extensions. I just focus on like the little things of just, if it's for example for a side kick, like I just focus on bringing up the knee up to my chest, curling it as much as possible, making sure it's nice and tight, and then just focusing on like pushing it out that chamber even before the execution of the extension of the kick, just so that way I know that if it was to come out, that it would be like a freaking bullet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's that part specifically that I heavily emphasize on when trying to get better kicks and trying to make sure it comes out right.
That is
So
so good because yeah, everyone just focuses on what it looks like when,
mhm.
the kick is actually out there. So how do you think that you learned to focus on that? Like was it taught by an instructor or did you just learn that through practicing? Where do you think you got that from?
I'm pretty sure I got it from my instructors. I'm pretty sure my instructors emphasize the whole chamber is the most important part of the kick, most important part of the kick. And I think I just interpreted that in my own way as I grew up and also kind of studying different martial arts and just trying to practice different kicks and whether or not they actually meant it at that point in time, or I was just parodying it and it came into my head, I think I've developed it into that like principle
Yeah.
and practice. So yeah, I think it's really just that, like a basic concept that I just started adopting and practicing.
Very cool. Okay, his second question is, do you think post-COVID will lead to an increase in online seminars?
Ooh, well, I mean, I definitely think we're seeing that now, specifically with that. Um, I think it's a cool thing, definitely, as long as, well, I think it's a cool thing that martial arts is becoming a little bit more widespread again because of the fact that we're in COVID and online training is becoming more prominent. Considering the fact that we don't really have too many options to go out to a dojo. If you're not, say, like me personally, I'm not too comfortable yet going back to a gym or to a school yet. I'm kind of waiting to see how things play out a bit more for 2021. So fingers crossed that gets better, right?
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, please, for the sake of the people that want to train and for the sake of people that have schools like yourself and everything like that. But yeah, the cool thing is that, especially like this, for example, like me collaborating with you, like I don't think I would have had this opportunity to begin with, or I would have had a smaller chance, but because of the fact that everyone's interacting online, especially through seminars and stuff, like COVID's kind of brought people closer together and communities online closer together. And I think that's really, really cool. So I'm hoping even post-COVID that it would still stay, but I do hope that people also don't get too hung up in like, I'm going to be a martial arts black belt because I studied online. You have to go to a physical school and train with an instructor. Please don't do that. Warning to all you guys out there, don't just train online. Eventually, when you're comfortable and safe, please go to a school and an instructor that is trusted and certified.
Oh, yes.
To get yourself taken. Yeah, definitely like that. Go to Sammy if she's in your area. That's for classes.
No, I agree with you though, because like I think it's awesome that we do get to learn a lot online. I always tell everyone I think it's like supplementary because you're never going to be able to replace like actually being in there in front of an instructor, holding pads and just watching you. Yeah, it's irreplaceable, but there are things that we can do. So just like you're saying, have you had a chance of like either being a part of like some online training or leading a seminar online? Have you done any of that yet?
Yes, I have. I actually I'm happy to get back into it since I'm usually busy with some video editing and stuff like that. But I have had the opportunity to train with actually people over from the West Coast in terms of like trying to get my sports martial arts game and tricking game up. So I was actually working with Steve Terada. I don't know if you're familiar with him. So doing some Zoom classes with him with a small group. And I thought that was really, really cool since I looked up to him as a kid growing up. And I was like, oh, snap, I get to train with him. It's online. This is cool. He's actually a real person. Hi. Kind of thing. I am so sorry if you see that, by the way, man. But like, that was one of the things. And again, it probably wouldn't have happened if COVID didn't happen. That's the thing. And me personally, have also been running a Discord group actually that kind of like people from different martial arts. Basically, you can join up. We just talk casually about martial arts, what there's training. Some people share like their training videos, and it kind of ranges in terms of like levels. So it can be someone that's super, super beginner, someone that's just really interested in martial arts, to someone that's been practicing it for a long time. And I hold like martial arts workouts. Like people are welcome to join it or not. It's kind of up to them, honestly, with it. And I just share what I know because I don't think I'm a super expert of anything. I might have been in the martial arts for a while, but I still know myself. I have a lot to work on and a lot to learn too. So it's kind of everyone sharing something together, and I'm just sharing how I do my kicks and get everyone moving during quarantine.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I love that mentality because I feel like you're never going to be able to like master everything, and like there's always going to be something more to learn. So I love that you have that in your mindset, and that already makes you just like an awesome martial artist because you're always going to be improving. So I love that. Okay. Oh no, it's somebody else's question next. Okay. Baseman 2000, how is the training going for you with COVID?
So I'm very much antsy a lot of the times because I don't know if you I don't know how heavy the stocking was, but I know I put on my story, I think yesterday, I was like, I miss the feeling of hitting a punching bag, a heavy bag, a really solid heavy bag, and also just hitting pads with someone like super, super hard. Like I miss it entirely. And like, I get, there shouldn't be an excuse why you shouldn't practice. So of course I'm trying to keep up with my cardio, trying to do some shadow boxing and stuff, keep up with my forms and such, since I'm trying to kind of bring that back into my training life since I can't go. I was originally training 2020. I was supposed to train for an amateur fight, like a kickboxing fight. And then it got cut short because of COVID. And I'm just like, well, dang, I guess 2021, I'm going to fight maybe next year, maybe that. So like I miss it so much since I was in that like mindset, like hitting hard, hitting the pads, getting hit, getting beat up, coming back up again, real life, the alive feeling of the sorts. There's nothing like it, I think. Just hitting a good pad and a good bag and being able to let it out. It's one of the healthy feelings of being a martial artist. I think the emotional healthy release there. That's definitely one of the things I miss.
Oh my God. I'm with you. I missed hitting paddles so much the other day, or like a shield. I pulled my boyfriend in and he's like never done martial arts before. And I'm like, here, hold this. I just need somebody to like hold this for me. Poor guy.
Good. Oh jeez.
But yeah, I feel ya.
Oh yeah. Eventually, hopefully soon. Just hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Or Santa or dear wallet, please send me like an extra bit of cash so I can, put that out there.
Oh, you need a bag. You need something to hit.
A proper bag. That's the thing. Oh man.
Cool. Okay. Well, this actually works right into the next question. It's by Kushi_Eismags. How to build muscles at home and how to create good flexibility and maintain it. So working out at home, how do you like gain power and flexibility?
So as of right now, because I do not have access to a lot of weights, I've been doing more calisthenic stuff and plyometrics. So we do have like a pull-up bar of the sort. So I've been trying to do that lately and keeping my arm strength, for that matter. So whenever like we basically fits in the door frame. So whenever at night and I'm working and stuff, and I feel bored and antsy between editing videos, I pretty much just go over there, bang out a couple, and then after that come back. So I've been doing that regularly, still doing push-ups, still trying to do, in regards to like kick stuff, I really been focusing more so on like kind of doing squats and stances. So a little bit different, not really like say explosive power in that sense, but like a different build and like muscle in that sense there. And then you said flexibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and in regards to flexibility, standard stretches, honestly, I'm pretty sure most martial artists that have trained in a school, you got your butterfly stretch, you got your frog stretches. Frog stretches, I hate those right now. They used to be my bread and butter, and I'm trying to get back into that because I want to get a full split for 2021 next year, and I'm starting early now again. But I've personally been just stretching to make sure I don't break anything since I'm 25 and kind of starting to get in the later years of adulthood.
Oh yeah, it changes quick.
Yeah, enjoy your youth, kiddos. So I'm trying to really go harder in my stretching now, since I'm not really focusing on the super fight mentality stuff. So I'm kind of working more so on building my body for performance again, until I can get the opportunity to go train back at a gym. So been trying to work more on my frog stretches. Doing those wall stretches are really, really nice and classic. You don't really have to think about it. You just put your legs up, spread it out to a full straddle, and then just play on your phone for a little bit while you're just waiting. The classic ones where you're putting your foot on the wall and trying to push yourself up and trying to get that full like vertical side again. Like, yeah, those stuff pretty much, nothing too fancy. So that's really what I've been doing.
Those are some solid tips. I like those. Okay, next question from Deemsy.xxix. Would you consider fighting in one championship?
Oh, snap. Hell yeah. I totally would. Yeah, I totally would. Like, first off, I need to get real good because the girls in that freaking league over there would probably murder me right now. Oh man, that's no joke. But oh man, I totally would. If I have the skill set and I'm ready and they're like, we want you, hell yeah, I'm gonna go for a freaking one championship.
Oh, like, I love the enthusiasm.
That would be an honor. And I think the whole company in itself is like, I think it's really cool that they rep martial arts to its core, and so like at least a lot of the social media that I've seen, good sportsmanship between the fighters. It's not always like the whole drama between fighters of that sort. There's always some kind of, there's respect between them, and like everyone's like seems to be good buddies, at least by the end of their fights too. And it's really cool. I love the environment. I love what they're pushing out about martial arts in a fight aspect. It doesn't always have to be like, oh, I'm stronger than you. Oh, come at me, bro. And you're like, oh man.
yeah, I get you. But yeah, that's super important. But yeah, I want to see you out there now. You sold me.
Hopefully one day. I got a lot of work to do. I got to get my first fight before even getting considered for any of that stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what the cards play out for in the future.
All right, we'll watch for it. Next question. Kind of fun. What are your top 3 martial arts movies?
Ooh, top 3. Okay, so my first one, My Lucky Stars. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. It's Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yoon Biao, I think, was in it, but mostly Jackie Chan and Sammo are like the main big icons. I guess most people would recognize in there. Don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I'm horrible at watching movies. Like I just don't watch movies or TV. I don't know like what my parents did to me growing up, but I just like never got into it.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, but I
Um,
know everyone gives me a hard time for it. But okay, that's your first one,
Yeah,
right?
that's a complete favorite. It was like one of my first, like, I guess, Hong Kong cinema action films of the sort. And I grew up loving it. It's I guess really quick. Sorry, I don't mean to take too much time with it, but
No, you're
like
good.
the whole story pretty much is like the main guy that Jackie Chan plays is basically was I believe a convict that turned into a cop later down the line. So he's pretty much a cop, and then he has to recruit his brothers who are all basically convicts of some sort. So like to help him out with this whole investigation and try to take down these bad guys, because his partner Ricky, who's Yim Biao, I believe, got taken. So he needs to ask his brothers to help him out do this. So it's a whole kind of family get together. In a really weird reunion, but they're kicking butt at the same time. And it's those little quirks between siblings, I think, that really resonates with me, since I have a sister myself. So it's kind of cute. I really love the movie for that matter. So, and rewatching it over and over again as I got older, like
Uh-huh.
I guess I pick up like the jokes and the humors that were like, oh, this is like the base humor thing, and like, oh, that's the adult humor in there. Okay, I'm enjoying it at a whole other level, kind of thing. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love returning back to it, and the choreography is fantastic in there. So that's one. Sorry, the long rant on that one.
No, that sounds
Um,
really good. Now I want to check it out.
yeah, definitely check it out and watch it in the original, like the original dialect. If you watch it in the English, it's perfectly fine too. That's what I grew up watching. But try to watch in the original dialect. I think that's the better way to watch it.
Huh.
But and then the other two, I guess I would go Drunken Master 2. That's a pretty much another favorite Jackie Chan movie that most people kind of pick out. Also another one that I first watched and saw Jackie in. And I think just Drunken Style is the way Jackie performs it, at least, has a lot of charisma, and there's no one really like him that has been able to perform it like that. So another one of my favorites. And then Rush Hour. Who else doesn't like Rush
Okay, that I did watch and I
Hour?
loved. So I get you with
Okay.
that one.
So Rush Hour is always still good too. I really love Rush Hour as well.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. What have you struggled most? No. This is from Becca D. What have you struggled with the most in martial arts?
Ooh, I think that's really, really hard one, actually, because I guess depending on the stages of martial arts that you're in, me personally, I grew up with the more sports performance side, and then I guess I was slowly migrating to the more combative application and like effectiveness and the traditional side, or trying to understand the traditional side of it. So I think before, when I was in the more sports martial arts stuff, I had to kind of overcome the fact that my limitations of my small size at the time, as well as like my athletic ability. Like I was naturally flexible when I was a kid and able to maintain that. So that was always easy to me, but I always wanted to like flip and be able to kick hard and like do all this other stuff that the big guys were doing. Because in my head, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the best martial arts are the strongest, biggest martial artists out there that can like kung fu movie fighting style, hi-ya kind of thing. So like I didn't have that at that point in time, and I guess wanting to have that, I would get very much um, I would get really antsy when I wouldn't get the opportunity to train. And it's kind of learning where to draw your lines and accept like your limitations, but work at them at a healthy pace. I think I kind of started getting
Right.
super obsessed with training to the point it's like I almost had like martial arts withdrawal as a kid. So
Wow.
if I couldn't train, like I would, not really the proudest moments over here. So I'm sharing kind of like a little bit more closer stuff there. But like, I would like throw tantrums in terms of like, if I couldn't train, like I would be so mad. Like my punishment, oh, you can't play video games. No, you can't go to karate. What? No, I can't go. Dude, like that was my whole thing. And
Huh.
yeah, so like as a kid, like I was very much obsessed with wanting to train, and because I didn't want to fall behind, and I didn't want to get I didn't want to kind of get lost and be like considered weak at that point, and consideration to my peers. And especially I think a lot of my martial arts friends, and I don't know if this was the same for you growing up, like a lot of them were guys, and like I was very much a tomboy too, so I felt like I always had to prove myself in terms of like, hey, I can beat butt too, like I
Right.
might be a girl, but like, hey, I can do this just as well as you guys, kind of thing. So that was another, I guess, level or layer to why I guess I was super, super unhealthily sometimes obsessed with martial arts, I think.
Yeah.
As a kid. And then growing up now, like under, I think this goes in, especially if you're transitioning from sports martial arts to like more combative stuff, like understanding that a lot of the aesthetic stuff doesn't necessarily, just because you're good at high kicks and fast jumpy stuff doesn't mean that you're going to be great in the ring, nor are you a terrified, sorry, what's the word, I have to keep it PG, right?
Mostly, yes.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure. I don't want to be, yeah, sorry, but I don't want to be like an intimidating fighter of the set in that sense, like just because I can do flips and stuff, I can do all the flashy stuff. It doesn't mean anything when it translates to the ring. So a lot of me learning how to kind of check my own ego going into fighting and trying to learn something that I wasn't super familiar with before, and get a better understanding, and letting go of a lot of the prejudices that I had before about other martial arts, just because of either what I was taught by instructors before, and like it kind of like was ingrained. It's like oh, whatever since it's like law kind of thing. But you know, growing up, you learn how to develop your own thoughts, your principles, and everything, and experiences show you the different stuff. So it's like trying to check my own ego, kind of realize, okay, I need to start from the ground up. Not really as bad, as great as you thought you were.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and that kind of is humbling. And I think in my 20s, like 5 years ago, honestly, that's kind of where I started going on that journey, and how it's developed my own mentality of how I look at martial arts today. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
You're so good. Oh my God, you're funny. No, that's really cool though. Yeah, so it's just, varied throughout the years. So different struggles, and that's really cool. I like that. And I like that you're saying that it was a humbling experience, and just back to what we were saying of just like, always having to learn something new and check your own ego and be like, okay, there's more to learn out there. So love that.
So that's why, like when I talk to, and even when I'm talking in my videos and stuff too, it's like, I hope, and when I speak to anyone too, it's like, I hope if I do come out of line, or if I'm stepping out of like whatever principles that I'm putting out there, that I'm saying, hey, like if I'm getting a big head, someone would help me, or like just say, you need to tone it down a bit, or like at least the people closest to me to do that, or at least even if there's something happening, like the way I'm presenting myself online, like even those comments, I understand negative comments, but sometimes some of those negative comments have truth, because like, you might not be checking yourself, right? So I think that's the one thing that I try to make sure now, that I'm carrying myself with that kind of awareness in terms of how I'm as a martial artist. So
very cool. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. So that's the end of the questions that I picked out. There were like a million, so I picked my favorite ones. I do have a question for you. I have two questions for you. My first one is, what started like Keep on Kicking? Is that one of like your hoodies that you're wearing right now, or like what's?
Well, it's this is the kicker shirt stuff. It has like the Keep on Kicking, whatever, the Keep on Kicking hashtag in the back.
Okay.
But I've always it came from the AJ Kick thing. So funny story, AJ Kick was my first username on my email that my dad made for me. So it just stuck kind of. And I mean, AJ was my nickname in karate, the kicking part. I mean, I like kicking at that point in time. So AJ Kick, and then the 101 I kind of tagged on there. I don't know if it was like one of those like corny numbers you add at like the end of your usernames when you're growing up, but the whole 101, like back to the basics thing, that was kind of my thing to it, or what at least I interpreted it now as an older adult kind of carrying it. So that's where the username came from. And the Keep on Kicking, I don't exactly know where I started saying it, but I know the idea of just being able to continue on with your journey, even though it gets super, super difficult. Then what matters most is just that you keep trying to move forward. It doesn't matter how little the progression might be, the fact that you're just taking that step forward and trying to get better and grow, whatever area might be. It doesn't even really have to apply to karate. I think it can apply to every aspect of your life. Like that's the whole gist of the Keep on Kicking hashtag right there. So I say really cornily when I'm like signing off, I'm like, hey guys, so remember, keep on kicking kind of thing. But like but there is actually merit to that phrase, I think. And
Yeah.
it just stuck and it rung, and now I've kind of just turned it into this whole, I guess, martial arts lifestyle thing, just to help people remember, like, yeah, when times get tough, just keep on kicking. That's pretty much it. Just get through it. Beat
Such
it.
a good message. Yeah, I love that. So what prompted it to grow into like, okay, so what kind of things do you sell on there? Like you have, I'm assuming, well, you tell me, like when did it start? What's it about? What kind of things do you have, products do you have? Tell me all about it.
Okay, so I recently, since we pointed out the sweatshirt stuff, the merch actually first, recently opened up a Teespring. So you can actually visit that on teespring.com/store/AJKick101, and you got the keep on kicking stuff there. So we got the proud kicker shirt. So it has like the whole little axe kick thingy silhouette that I did over there from
Love
the
it.
photo shoot I did before. So have that there. We have different versions of that too. We have I have came out. My sister actually helped me out with a Virtuium. Oh man, came out with a kicker design. Excuse me.
Okay.
I cannot talk this afternoon. I'm so sorry. Um, Came out with basically a really cool kick design in regards to in the parts of a kick, and I guess the aesthetic of like different kicks, like a front kick or a side kick. Those are my favorite ones, and I think the easiest to showcase on like an actual design. So she actually came up with a really, really great anatomical sketch that's kind of inspired by I
Oh,
don't know
I
if you've
saw
seen the
that.
Da Vinci thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Did
I
you see it?
loved it. That
Yeah,
was
so
so cool.
yeah, so she actually designed that. So thank you to Joelle. Please follow her too for her art, because she's an amazing artist. With that, also going to be a physical therapist, which I think is like two ends, creative and science at the same time too.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
cool.
So that's really one there as well. I'm hoping that like as things grow, because I know right now it's like I'm using myself as like the face for everything, but I would really love to eventually have other designs that also highlight other kickers as well, just people's favorites and different styles. So I'm hoping to expand this as things get wider, not just sticking to karate kicking, but kung fu kicking, or even like keep
Yeah.
on punching, keep on throwing, keep on whatever the heck you want to do, kind of thing. Because I really do love all martial arts. I might have started out on one I might be favorite to it just because that's what I trained in, but I
Yeah.
really do love all aspects of it in different styles. So please check out that store if you'd like to support that. And yeah, it's just some cool kicker merch for right now. And I've also done for Keep on Kicking pretty much my YouTube channel. Right now it's kind of been more like training vlogs and some kind of like sponsor highlights at this moment in time, because holiday seasons, everyone's trying to get their sales on. So
Yep.
apologies guys if that's like a really like sellouty right now, but creators got to eat somehow sometimes. you
Oh
know
yeah.
So but I'm looking back to going into the training stuff, doing some more tutorial things since people have been asking for it. I'm just trying to figure out ways to present it the way I feel comfortable with, where I'm not like, this is the law, you have to kick this way kind of thing. It's like, no,
Mhm.
just take whatever information the way I kick and use it for your own benefit, and tell me if it
Yeah.
works for you. And if it doesn't, okay, that's cool. Hopefully you picked up something, a different perspective maybe from it. And if it does help you out, fantastic. I mean, the whole thing works for that. So that's
Love
my
it.
whole channel kind of moving to it. So more training stuff, tutorial stuff. Hopefully when things are better, going back to more like adventure stuff. Since I also do like action acting of the sort, I have like a little indie film group over here in the East Coast. So we do some projects here. So there's hopefully going to be more behind the scenes stuff, and we're doing some fight scenes and projects next year when things are a little bit safer and also
Right.
not freezing cold in the East Coast. So because filming in the cold sucks, guys. Filming in the cold sucks. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'll be sure to link everything on the description for the YouTube video. So if you guys have any questions, want to check out her stuff, just check out the links in the description. So my last question for you is to just kind of end off, what message would you like to send to martial artists? Like what one thing would be your message to like any martial artist, whether they're starting to train, black belts that are, like that have been training for a while and want more to do? What's your message?
I think the most important thing, which I wish I knew when I was younger, is to understand why you really want to get into martial arts. And I say this because nowadays, especially since martial arts now can be anywhere from being a performance to fitness and health to actual application in fighting and self-defense, like you really need to understand your reason why you want to train in martial arts, and be honest about your skill sets when you're starting out and during your whole training. I think that would solve a lot of ego problems as you're growing up. That would also solve a lot of delusional things when you're getting into different organizations and stuff too. being able to check yourself and check your surroundings and make sure that, okay, does this make sense? Does this make sense to me? Is this working for me in my own martial arts journey? So like, if you find out your reason to train, and obviously this can evolve as you go on in life, like I think you'll feel better and be able to enjoy martial arts for what it is and whatever style that you want. I hope that makes sense.
No, it totally does.
Yeah, so that's something I wish I knew better growing up, and I wish my early instructors kind of told me and demonstrated. So I'm just sharing this with other people now that are trying to get into martial arts or trying to get back into training to martial arts, because I actually meet a lot of people that's like, oh, I stopped martial arts before, didn't know really how I felt about it, and I really want to get back into it. And I think this really helps kind of puts your ducks in a row, how you want to go about martial arts and your martial arts training.
That's a really good message. I love that. Yeah, awesome note to end on. Like I said, guys, follow AJ. I'll put all the links everywhere so you guys can find her. And thank you so much for doing this and just spending time talking and sharing your thoughts. I loved it.
Thank you, Samery, for having me. And I thank you for the opportunity for sharing my story and my stuff. And man, you're pretty cool with that. Got 2 schools and Taekwondo, like all that stuff, and you're kicking and everything like that too. I think that's pretty dope. And I think a lot more. I think, like I said before, I know I said in the beginning, I think it's amazing that you're sharing other martial artist stories out there, and especially like you being also a female martial artist in this world too. While it's still very male dominant, I think it's a very positive light to have great female role models out there, kind of pushing out like the positive message of martial arts. So thank you for that too.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys, this is the end of the video. Thanks, AJ, again, and we will see you guys all next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.